Welcome back to another episode of the Shared Voices podcast, brought to you by the 1042 Project. I got my New York Neil with me today. What's up, Neil?
Dan, how are you, my brother?
Man, I'm good. It's good to have you on. I just, you sent an email in. You and I have been going. I think we've been emailing back and forth for a while. We finally got connected this week and had a chance to finally meet over Zoom, and I got to hear a little bit about you and your story. And man, you are a guy that's motivated. You're a guy that's on fire. You're a guy that is whole mission is to coach others to get more out of themselves, to see what God's put in them, to get more out of themselves, to have more out of life than they've ever realized. You are a former first responder, and Neil, thank you. Can you just give us a few minutes here, buddy? Tell me what's going on in New York out there, and a little bit about you, buddy.
Sure. So I had every kid's biggest dream. I grew up and I became a police officer and a fireman. So I did 10 years in NYPD, and then I rolled over and I did 14 years in FDNY. And my new chapter is out here coaching people to help them design their life. Because when I left the job, I felt a identity crisis. Like, what am I going to do now? Like, I was for 24 years, I only did one thing. And now I'm out here like in the real world, and I have to figure life out all over again.
Mm-hmm.
And in going through that process, I decided that I was going to help other first responders kind of do the same thing. So I'm happy to be here. We're going to bring the fire today, and we're gonna get you guys some hope, some faith, and get them moving in the right direction.
Dude, I love it, man. I first of all, for our listeners, I know we kind of jumped in there, but thank you for joining us. Just some housekeeping stuff. Go to our website, go to the Get Connected area, and we're going to be starting on Wednesday nights. I think we're going to do it 2 days, do it 4 times a month, once a week. But on different days, we're going to be having our peer support group online, just people hanging out, having fun, talking. If you want to be part of that, send me an email at dan-1042project.org, dan@10-42project.org. Get plugged into a group, get plugged into a community, get plugged into some help and some people that love you. Send me an email and I'll get the information out to you. We do not open it up to just everybody for obvious reasons. So send me a link so I can reach out to you and get you verified, and then we'll get you in the group so you can be part of it. Also, we got some new exciting news coming out. Actually, I think I'll save it for next podcast, so we'll just hold it for that. So anyway, Neil, we were talking, I think it was yesterday. Who knows? I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. But I got to hear about you, man, and you got me fired up just talking. That's what you do. But you and I got to talking, and this is why I wanted to have you on. Number one, you're a former first responder, and you were a hero, and then you were a guy that sat in a recliner with a garden hose, firefighter guy. But anyway, at least you were the hero first. No, I'm just kidding. But man, so many of our first responders that I work with, people that are part of our organization, people that are seeking help, people that are ambassadors, other people in our organization, when they struggle, when they retire, when they leave law enforcement, or maybe they're still in law enforcement, like you had said before, you lose that sense of purpose, that sense of identity when you get out of law enforcement. And for me, depression set in big time, and my sense of purpose was gone. I had no direction. I had no mission. I was a dangerous person because I didn't want to live. There was no reason to plan for the future because I planned on being dead anyway. So many of us first responders, we lose our identity, we lose our hope, we lose our joy when we leave. And we're on a mission to try to change that, Neil, because our first responders, there's so much more inside of them when they leave law enforcement. Like, God calls us to seasons in life. He doesn't call us to lifelong commitments to jobs that you have to work for 80 years and die at the office desk. Like, he calls us to missions. And if you worked your mission and you've finished your career as a first responder, number one, be proud of it. No matter how you left, you served. you serve, be proud of that. Celebrate it, grieve it if you need to grieve it, give it some time, but then realize that your identity is not in that badge. It never was, it never is. The identity is inside of you. God put that in you, and you may not even know what it is anymore. I know for me, man, I turned my head around one day, and next thing I knew, I was a lost, broken person, and it just happened so fast. Sometimes we don't even recognize it. But God's put more in you. So many of us, our first responders, want to give up. They go into addictions, a lot of suicide attempts after leaving first responder careers. We're trying to get them plugged back into things that they enjoy, hobbies, get them plugged back into their sports. If they want to start a business, let's get them started on a business. Let's repurpose our first responders for their next season in life. And one of the big ways we do that, Neil, is through our 3 pillars, is we repurpose them. And we allow their hurt and pain to be repurposed and be used to mentor and ambassador other first responders in our area. That being said, while I sit there and just blab, blab, blab forever, so many of us need motivation. We've forgotten who we are. We've forgotten what's inside of us. Neil, how do we bring out what's inside of us and spark a new drive, a new mission in our life while dealing with trauma? You know what I mean?
So, Dan, we're going to touch on a lot of great things today. We're going to bring the fire. We're going to wake you guys up, right? I want to touch upon, if I can, just before I answer that question. You made the introduction, and you were talking about your Wednesday night groups. You're going to start your Wednesday night groups and your peer groups. And guys, send Dan an email. Get in on those groups. Take that action. That's one small action that you can take that will better your future. And why will it better your future? Because you're going to have proximity to other individuals that are going through the same thing you're going through. And you will then realize that you're not the only one out there, that there's support for you. And you're going to be seeing what other people are doing and how other people are trying to better their lives within the group. It's all about proximity. Proximity is one of those big pillars that I lean on. And we're going to talk much more about proximity. But that peer group, send an email to Dan. Ask to be in the group. Jump on a call with him. Go through the process, but take that action. You asked about identity. You touched about identity. And I went through a similar situation where I wore a badge. I was a volunteer fireman at the age of 18 years old. So I went from the volunteer fire department. I was an EMT. I was a police officer. I went into the fire department to end out my career. So I had probably close to 30 years of my life, and starting when I was 18, right? I was 18 as a volley, 20 as a cop, and then 30 as a fireman. So my entire life essentially was spent as a first responder helping people. And then one day I woke up and I didn't have to go to work anymore. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? And it took me a good 3 or 4 years to figure out what my next chapter was. And for me, as a first responder, my identity wasn't a cop. It wasn't a fireman. That's what I thought my identity was. But my identity, my true identity, my core identity was I'm a person that helps other people.
Mm.
And when I made that realization of, oh, I don't need the fire truck. I don't need the RMP. I don't need the radio calls, the fire calls. I don't need the external chaos for me to add value to somebody's life. I don't need all of that for me to have an impact on somebody's life.
Come on.
I can have the impact in what I choose to do in this next chapter. And
That's
for
right.
me, my first chapter actually started out in real estate and rehab and run down properties so that people had a safe, clean place to live and raise their families. And then I learned mindset within that realm, in that world. And when I came upon that mindset is when everything started clicking. Mindset was the one domino that knocked all the other dominoes over. And now I'm out here trying to help other first responders make that transition. Like you could choose to do whatever you want with your life, right? It doesn't, once you leave the job, that identity of cop, I don't give that up. I still consider myself a fireman. I still consider myself a first responder. I don't give that up completely. I just change the meaning I give to it. So I'm a person now that helps people.
I love that, because when you know who you are and what your mission is, then you know when something comes along that aligns with that mission, and that's what you're supposed to be part of.
Yes, it gave me. So when I came upon that realization, I wasn't lost anymore. I wasn't feeling like I was in the middle of the ocean in a little raft, just bobbing around, and I end up wherever I end up. When I made that realization, and I chose to take on that identity of, oh, you know what, I really am a person that helps other individuals. Then I just had to choose, in which lane am I going to help other individuals? Am I going to help them in apartments? Am I going to help them in coaching? Am I going to help them in lawn care? Am I going to help them in plumbing, electrical, the trades? Like, you can help people. People are always looking for help. You can help people in so many different ways. You can help people just through conversation. You can help people on Wednesday nights just being part of a peer group. It's amazing how many different ways you can help people. And every first responder, I mean, that's why we're first responders, because we want to help people. We do it for the adrenaline rush too, but we
Yeah.
want to help people.
Man, you said that so well. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. And you know, when you identify yourself as that, which is the truth, that's what God's called us to be, a light for others, to be a helper.
Yes.
So if you have that mindset and know that in yourself, then when you leave law enforcement, you've lost nothing,
Yes.
because you are still a first responder, a server of other people, period. Whether
You
you're
are,
wearing a
sir.
uniform,
Yes. Yes.
whether you're wearing a uniform, or you're meeting for coffee with another first responder who's suffering, or you're taking somebody to church. I mean, whatever it is, man. That's it.
Yes. So you can still have, so you can have the identity. You can keep your identity of first responder. You give it a slightly different meaning, a meaning of, I'm an individual that helps people, as opposed to I ride around in an RMP or a patrol car all day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go to the station house anymore. My new station house is the Zoom room. My new station house is the church. It could be anything, right? Because what I do is I help individuals, and I make that conscious choice. I get to choose how my life goes. I don't let the external world choose how the life goes. When you were a cop riding around in your patrol car, we call them RMPs, radio motor patrol in NYPD. That's why I'll say RMP. But when you're riding around in the patrol car, you get a radio run. You go there and you deal with that radio run, whatever it may be. In that radio run, you have, as you're going to that radio run, you have complete confidence in yourself that I can handle and figure out and problem solve and come up with solutions for whatever I face. Bring that skill set now outside of the job into your own lives. So I want to become I want to have a contractor business. I can have a contractor business. I can have the faith in myself that I know that I'm going to be able to solve the problems, to figure things out. My partner in real estate did 24 years in the Navy, and he said, "All we are, he was talking about him and I. He said, all we are problem solvers. That's what we did at work. We just solved problems. So when we come out here into business, it's no different. We're solving different problems, but we're still using the same steps of solving those problems. So you have the skill set, you just have to translate it into a slightly different environment.
Mm. And that's the struggle people have trouble seeing, is that you can do that.
Yes.
Yes. So how do
Because
you, so
because
many
they
of
don't have the
people,
same tools, right? I'm used to using the law, a nightstick, a patrol car, a gun, a taser, mace, verbal, what they call verbal judo,
yeah,
just communication, just psychological communication,
yeah,
right? So those are the tools of the police officer, right? You just have to now take that skill set and bring it over into the contractor business. So instead of a gun or a radio, or instead of a radio, I have a telephone, right? That's communication. Instead of a nightstick, I have a hammer. Instead of a gun, I have a screwdriver. Like, it's just different tools, but you're still approaching the problems in the same thought process. I have a
yeah,
problem. What's the worst case scenario here? What's the outcome I'm looking for? How can I take those micro actions to get through this situation? One of the first things I did when I was a cop was, there was one room in the house that nobody was ever allowed to be in. When I walked into your house, there was one room. It was the kitchen, because the kitchen's the most dangerous room. There's weapons all over the kitchen. Not that there can't be weapons in the couch cushions. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying that the kitchen is boiling water. It has cigarettes. It has pots. It has pans. It has knives. It has fork. Like, it's a dangerous room in the house. So, so when I went there, my thought process immediately was, you stand to the side of the door, right? You never stand in front of the door and knock on it. You stand to the side of the door and you knock on it, right?
yep.
So I still do that to this day. I haven't been a cop since 2001. I haven't been a cop since 2001. That's over 20 years ago. I still will stand to the side and knock on the door,
Yep.
right? So, but that's the thought process we go through. So the problem is, there's something going on in this house. I'm going to stand to the side. I'm going to knock on the door. When I go into the door, I'm going to separate the occupants, right? It's a domestic. The husband and the wife are never in the same room. We separate them. We never let them in the kitchen. We never let them out of our sight. We always see their hands. Their hands are never allowed to be out of sight, right? These are all the things that we're picking up on. We have a process that we go through when we go on these radio runs. Now you come into my contractor business, you can set up that same process, right? What's the first step? The first step is, I have to go to the location. I have to unload the truck. I have to know that this contracting job is a plumbing job as opposed to an electrical job. It's the same process. You just have to adapt the skill sets over.
One of my friend Ryan Rep, he truly agrees. He was a cop and now he's in marketing, very successful. But man, he says he believes that formal first responders are some of the best employees people can hire,
Yes.
because they have
Yeah.
quick thinking. You know, they don't get shaken up by much. You know, they kind of have all the perfect skills, able to multitask. So for so many of our first responders, they'll feel like their life's over when they get out. So say they have this dream, they've been, you know, they have this thing that's been, you know, God's been putting on their mind to start a business or to start coaching other first responders, or, you know, becoming an ambassador for our organization or something like that. And of course, the first thing the enemy tells itself is, you're not good enough. You can't do that. You're too old. You're too dried up. Um, how do we get from couch to company? How do we get ourselves motivated to grieve the past and move forward with direction and intention?
Direction and intention. So that's the key right there. Intention, right? I'm going to intentionally pick the direction that I'm moving in. I'm not going to let society tell me what I should or shouldn't be doing. That's one. Two, understand how your subconscious works. So you want to start that marketing business, that contractor business. You want to have a better relationship. It doesn't matter what you specifically want to do. Your subconscious isn't familiar with that. and your subconscious is going to throw up a ton of red flags. One of the thoughts I had when I was going through this process was, there's no way I could be a real estate investor. Like, who am I to be a real estate investor? I don't know anything about that. I'm a first responder. I'm a grunt. I just grind it out. I just go and I do it. And what my mentor showed me is just breaking it down into micro actions. You're going to get past your subconscious. So what happens is you decide that you want to do something. Your subconscious throws up those red flags. All of those things you just said. Who am I to be doing this? I'm no businessman. I don't know how to do this. I can't do this. Whatever it is. It's because your subconscious is seeing unfamiliar territory. Your mind's meant to keep you alive, to keep your mind's about survival. It's not about growth. It's not about change. It's not about doing something bigger and better. It's about survival. And when you say, I want to now become a contractor, I want to become a marketer, your mind throws up all of these red flags. How do you get past that? How do you prevent your subconscious from doing that? You dumb down those actions in the beginning to such a micro action that your mind, your subconscious can't throw up the red flag. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to start a marketing agency. Okay. Well, what's one small thing you can do that moves the needle, but it's so micro that your subconscious isn't going to feel the change happening? Maybe it's take a course. Maybe it's read a book. Maybe it's have a conversation. Maybe it's just, okay, I'm going to go work for a marketing agency. But whatever that action is, we make it so small, it doesn't raise the red flag. Because if it doesn't raise the red flag, then we're going to take that action. So when I work with individuals, I just worked with a guy. He wanted his big thing was, I wanted to clear out my back room. He had a spare bedroom, and it was a complete mess. Papers everywhere. Like you could barely walk in. It was like a hoarder's nest, right? And I challenged him to just take one folder, go through that folder and take out the pieces of paper and put the pieces of paper where they actually belong. So if they were old and you crumbled them up and you threw them out, or if it was something that you absolutely needed to save, maybe it was a social security card, right? So you put that social security card in its place. We met a week later and he had 25% of his office cleaned out. When we left, when we had that first phone call, all he committed to was one folder. And he could do that because it was a micro action. His subconscious didn't throw up the red flag of, oh my God, well, what am I going to do when I find this? What am I going to do when I find that? How am I going to deal with this couch and the chair and the file cabinet? His subconscious was like, oh no, like I could pick up like one folder and like that's a joke. And that was enough for him to build the momentum. And when he did that one folder, he was like, I'm already here. Let me do another folder and another folder and another folder. Sometimes now what that individual did was quick, right? He did 25% of this room in a week. I was only expecting a couple of folders. But then the following week, you do a little bit more. You add a little bit more. You add a little bit more. You add a little bit more because you're starting to take the actions of the person that you want to be. You're starting to, I am a person that has an office.
That's right.
That spare bedroom. I am a person that has a clean space.
I am a person who goes to the gym.
I am a person that goes to the gym.
I
had one guy.
I truly believe in if you want to go to start going to the gym, member, when you start going to the gym, have the goal be drive to the gym, park, put your car in reverse and drive home. Day one.
I had a client I did that
Next
with.
day, go in and do one circle on the track and walk out. You are now a person who goes to the gym and works out. Take that identity and run with it.
Yes. I had a client that actually I didn't make him park and come, right. Just all you had to do was drive to the gym and drive like in the parking lot. drive past the front door, drive back out. And
Boom.
because exactly what you did, right? Like it was just the mental hurdle of, oh my God, I don't know how to use the machines. I'm fat. I'm not going to look good. I'm going to look stupid. Like whatever excuse comes up. I don't have the time, like whatever. Once you make that time placement and you take that action and you go there. My guy drove there for an entire week without getting out of the car.
Hey,
He was a little bit opposite of the guy that did 25% of his room, right? In a week.
yeah.
This it just took him longer, which is fine. Everybody moves at their own pace. It's all right. He went there, and now he's in the gym 5 days a week. It's no big deal to him because he slowly did it. Think about when you became a cop, right? I don't know about you or your listeners, but I will tell you straight out that the first day I was on patrol, the very first day I was on patrol by myself, right? Like, so in NYPD back then, you went through the academy, you came out, you did essentially you don't work with an FTO in NYPD. It was just a group of us, and we had one sergeant that was like our sergeant. So we were like in our own little squad. We didn't work side by side with an officer.
Really?
Yeah. And with that, they'd throw you to the lions. They'd just be
Damn,
like, all
dog.
right, you got a foot post on this corner. Go stand there. If you need anything, you got a radio. Just
Golly.
ask for help. So here I am. I shit you not, Dan. I'm standing in a door, like inside like a doorway, and I'm standing there like this, praying nobody walks up to me and asks a question because I have no clue what I'm doing. Like they basically gave me a badge and a gun and said, "Yeah, go out there, like you'll be all right."
So
And
for those of you that are listening, can't see him. He was standing with his body real stiff, like in a trying to
like
hide position. Yeah,
like
like
I
he
was
was
standing
scared.
against the
Like
wall, and I didn't want to be seen. I was playing hide and go seek, and I was hiding because I didn't want to be seen. I did not
imposter
want to be
syndrome,
seen
wasn't
at
it?
all.
Imposter
Sorry?
syndrome.
Oh,
Imposter syndrome, big time.
huge imposter syndrome. You got to remember, I was 20 years old too. Like
That's
back
when
then,
I
I really
started. I
didn't
was
think
20.
about it. But I was just in high school, and here I am now walking the streets. Like I got my foot post, and they're like, yeah, just walk up and down this sidewalk all day long, and like, but like now I can go out there, and it's no big deal, right? Like
Yeah.
you get to the point because you get your reps in, you get familiar with it, and
Small habits
yes.
done over a consistent period of time create
Mhm.
big changes. Small habits
So
consistently over a period of time.
you wanna change your life. You find the direction you want to move in, right? Because you don't want to be that guy in the raft in the middle of the ocean, just like bobbing around.
Yep.
If you ever sat in a tube, even in a pool, and you close your eyes, all of a sudden you're on the other side of the pool. You're like, how did I get here? I didn't feel like I was moving. You're just bobbing around. That's life just taking you wherever it takes you. But if you have direction, you have a direction to move in, you then take micro actions. I can just take my hand and just move the water a little bit, and I can paddle my way across the pool,
Yep.
right? But I take those micro actions, and if I take those micro actions consistently enough, change will happen. Like change is going to happen in your life. Your life is going to change. It's either going to change in a direction you want it to go in, or it's going to change in a direction that life takes it in.
Mm.
And it's your choice. You get to choose, because if you don't make a choice, that's still a choice. You're just choosing to do nothing is a choice.
100%. And for our listeners, if a really good book, I think, Neil, is if you want to get started in this type of mindset, a book by James Clear called Atomic Habits. Teaches you how to do small things consistently over a period of time and how it brings out big changes. Again, that's Atomic Habits with James Clear. It's an amazing book. Take your time with it.
Could I suggest a Atomic Habits 2.0 book?
Yeah, go for it. Suggest whatever you want.
Tiny Habits.
Tiny habits.
You want to learn how to change your behaviors. You want to learn how to actually develop your habits. Tiny Habits was written by BJ Fogg. He's the founder of the behavioral lab at Stanford. He literally wrote the book on change. So BJ James Clear in Atomic Habits references BJ's book.
Okay.
Before BJ actually had a book. James does a very good job at explaining how, it's a really good book. I felt like when I read the first 50 pages of Atomic Habits, I was like, get out of my head. And this is going back before I was a mindset guy. I was like, get out of my head. Like, how do you know this? And you'll form good habits there. BJ's book will teach you how to actually change your behaviors, how to make things. I was talking earlier about making things so microscopic, about just going to the gym, right? Driving to the gym, pulling into that parking spot, backing out of that parking spot and coming home. And then going to the gym, getting out, walking in, coming out, going home, getting to the gym, walking in, going around the track once, coming back home. That is what Tiny Habits is about. It's about breaking things down really micro so that you make the activity so easy that you almost feel dumb for not actually taking the action, right? If I can make the action so easy, the easier I can make that action, the more apt I am to actually take that action. So if you want to develop, when you're in the development stage of things, think about how I can make this so simple. I'd have to be an idiot not to do it. I want to read that book goes somewhere that I'm going to see it and pick it up and read it.
Again, in that book's Tiny Habits by BJ Fogg. If you're watching on the screen on YouTube, I got it pulled up on the screen there. You can see it. $23 book. I do all audio books, Neil. I can't sit down and read, man. It's just not created that way. But boy, all day long, I got to have positive things going into my head all the time. So I'm listening to audiobooks. I'm listening to sermons in my earbuds all day long just to keep positive things going in my head. But
that's how you fight, right? That's how you fight the negativity of the world, right? We're positive individuals. So think about a glass of water, right? Picture a glass of water. That's the positive mindset. But now we have the news. The news is on and somebody got shot and this happened and that happened and whatever it is, right? Like the news just bombards us with negativity. Take a news diet. That's something else. But the news, now take a teaspoon of iced tea powder, stick it in that glass of water, mix it around. Now you have a glass that's brown and mucky and dirty, right? Then you come and you listen to this podcast. You read that book. You come to peer groups where other individuals are helping you out. You're in proximity to people that don't pay attention to negativity, that repel it. And that's you taking a pitcher of clear water, pouring it in that glass of iced tea. And because you just took a gallon pitcher and poured it into a 16-ounce glass of iced tea, that 16-ounce glass is now clear water again. And that's the positivity coming back. You have to constantly overfill on your proximity, on your positivity. It's the only way you keep your head above water. It's the life preserver. It's the life preserver you're wearing in the raft as you direct your way down the river.
I'm so glad you said that because the listeners are hearing it from somebody more than me, because that's the exact kind of analogy I do with the clean water and the mud going in it. And generally we don't have control over the dark water, the stuff that's being put into our water. Sometimes it's work, it's news and all that, but we do have control over what I call the clean water time. And that's why I always tell people check your clean water time, because clean water time we do have control over. That's our drive to work, where we can turn on a Christian song, or we can put on an audiobook and something positive in our drive time. We can put an earbud in, we can do something positive. We can go for a run, we can go lift weights. That's clean water time. That's
Yes.
what flushes out the bad.
I call it getting the goods in the woods.
Yep. I like
So
that.
I take a walk in the literally in the woods. Like I live in the middle of nowhere now, as opposed to New York City. So I have a lot of hiking trails here, and I'll just go for a walk in the woods. And the quietness of it, the rustling of the leaves, the birds. Sometimes you see a couple of animals running around, a raccoon, a fox, like whatever it is, deer, bear. Like you're just in the woods and you just decompress. That's where I get it a lot from. I love running water. I love being streamside.
Come on.
I love the smell of the ocean air. I love the decompression of the ride home, right? So I'm listening to that podcast. Maybe on the ride home, I go the long way around, right? So that I can kind of fill that glass a little bit because I didn't have such a good day at work, right? Because I don't get to determine what radio calls I go on. I don't get to determine what other people do that I have to respond to. So sometimes I need extra water at the end of the tour.
That's right. And Neil, if you're okay with this, we're going to go and close this episode out, and we're going to do a second one. If you can stick around, we'll do a part 2, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Unless you got to run.
No, I'm good.
Like, I'll just put him on the spot, everybody. Like, put him on the spot right there. Like, you could say anything. Like, you could really say anything.
I don't have a hard stop, so I can go on forever then.
Yeah, we'll stop here about the 36-minute mark. That's usually about a good way to stop it for people's attention span. So, guys, we're talking with Neil. We're talking about tiny habits. We're talking about micro decisions to change your life, to get yourself out of a rut, to start something new in your life, especially post law enforcement, post first responder. We're going to close it there. Neil's going to pick us back up. We'll start right off with the tiny habits and headed in the right direction. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all, and we will see you next week.
Can I give a teaser? I'm going to give a teaser, guys.
Tease it.
Part 2, we're going to be talking about how you actually change your thought in the moment.
Hold on one second. I got to edit this out or something.
All right.
Project Shared Voices. All right, go ahead, buddy. Sorry, everybody. This is real life. We don't edit. We just keep rolling. Come on.
I'm going to give a teaser for part 2. In part 2, I'm going to teach a strategy that I created so that you can literally change your thought in the moment.
In the moment.
In the moment. That's coming in part 2.
Hey, you can control a thought if you can capture it, but you got to capture it first.
That's the first step, actually.
Coming up, part 2 with Neil. Who knows? We might have part 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're just going to have him on as a regular because I love his energy and I love his passion. So thank you, guys, and we will see you next week. God bless. And that wraps up another episode from the 1042 Project Shared Voices podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And just a reminder, we are a 501c3. If you guys can support us, you can go to our website, or if you know an organization or a company or your church may want to get involved in supporting 1042 Project's mission of equipping, restoring, repurposing our first responders, please reach out to us at 10-42project.org. There is a giving page on there. We need your help. We need your support. If you can't give financially, please be willing to share the word of our podcast, of our organization, and the work that God's doing. Thank you and have a blessed week.